Oh. I don't see how we can make bigger enemies.
To be offended or frightened of everything.
So you've become like the sort of Tony Scarface of podcasting.
Live, senor.
We're good to go.
Si,
welcome,
senor.
everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the morning show. Good to have you here with us. We'll wait for a few more people to come in the chat. We're going to start interacting with you guys a little bit more. In the meantime, you can follow this channel and you can go on over to patreon.com/Pantelis for a bunch of exclusive things that Pantelis is doing. Shit ton of content coming out of that channel. You can follow Poseidon on all social media. He's out there producing our podcast. And just like every week, I'm here joined by a living legend in the broadcasting world who has his very own successful podcast, Standing By, the Terry and Ted podcast. Mr. Ted Bird.
How do you do?
Very well, very well. Good morning.
Season 6 of Standing By is in the works. We confirmed
I
studio
saw.
time with Poseidon. Terry's booked his flight. He's coming in from Vancouver. We've got some guests lined up.
Nice.
So we're very excited about that.
This you're going to launch, what, next year at some point?
No, we'll do the recordings mid-October and hopefully have the first one posted by the end of October.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. How do you enjoy that?
That's great. It's
Yeah,
fun. Yeah. It's like the old radio show, except we get to say fuck. So it's fantastic. How many times did I want to say fuck on Shom, but I never could.
There's no one there to kind of what do you call them? One of those guys there that mutes the thing, but because you're live, like there's no delay,
there's no
right?
8-second delay. On talk radio, they have an 8-second delay because you can't control someone who calls in, right?
Right.
Like if a guy called, you guys will like this story. A guy called TSN when I worked there back in 2012 or 2013, and Tony Marinero was still at TSN.
Okay, yeah.
And Tony, it's love him or hate him. He's very polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tony, and to know him
I like him too, yeah.
To know him is to love him as well. Anyway, guy calls up one day, and Tony's talking. I don't know how he got onto it, but Tony's talking about taking a shower, and he goes, the 450 thing. I like to shower. I like to shower at least twice a day. Let's go to Nick in Chamonix. Go ahead, Nick. And Nick goes, I hope you shower twice a day because you reek of garlic, you malacca. And whoever was on the board didn't catch it, right? He should, with an 8-second delay, you should catch that. Unless the guy who was on the board made a judgment call and went, that's fucking funny, man. I'm letting it go.
Give me that one.
That's funny.
He probably didn't know what Malacca was.
Yeah, I probably didn't know.
You reek of garlic, you malacca.
That's funny.
And Tony handled it really well. Tony was like, well, there goes Nick. Nick's parents are very proud of him. He's very well raised.
Oh, my God.
Tony, he says, Nick will probably be waiting for me outside to get my autograph after the show.
So good. He has his own little successful podcast going there, too.
I think it's doing really well, actually. I think that, I think that he's killing it with his podcast. I was on a podcast earlier this week with Chris Ramsey and Wes Barker, who are two comedians / magicians.
Very well-known people here at the Pantelis comedy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They're part of the universe.
Chris has 7 million YouTube subscribers and 1.65 billion views of his YouTube content.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And I guess it pays too because he's got a beautiful building that he's built a beautiful studio in up in Saint Sauveur.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm obsessed with the studio.
Yeah, and when I said, I'm almost there, he goes, okay, just come in the door where the Tesla is.
Yeah.
He's fantastic and
a great guy too, nicest guy.
I saw him very quickly at one of Pantelis' shows backstage.
Yeah.
We didn't talk or anything. I mean, I'm not that kind of guy either to go up to people. But yeah, super good. And I used to follow this guy before you guys contacted him. And at some point, he was on. You brought him on 2 Drink Minimum, I think.
Yeah, it was 2 Drink Minimum his first appearance.
Yeah. And I see the thing because I saw the thumbnail. I'm like, what the fuck? And I sent a message to Pantelis. I'm like, how did you get this fucking guy? He goes, I've been following this guy for years on YouTube. I know nothing about magic. It's just entertaining.
Yeah.
You see this guy's content online, and they take so much time. The videos that they do, it's incredible.
Yeah, and is he from Saint Sauveur? Is that his home? Do you know, or is that where he's from originally?
I think
is he a Quebecer? Is he from around here somewhere?
I think he told everyone in the past, but I forgot.
Well, you know what? He might be from all over the place because his dad was in the army.
I think he was in Germany too. I
Yeah,
think
that's
he's
right.
German.
He
Yeah, I
was.
think
He
he's
was in
German.
Germany. Yeah, his dad was an enlisted. He was
Yeah.
an enlisted man in the Canadian military, and so what did he call himself the other night? He said he was a base brat.
A what?
A
Base brat.
He lived,
Meaning he lived on bases all over the
military
place.
bases. Yeah. Super interesting guy, and I think he started a second channel now. With
He did? Dude, I have
With
no
UFOs?
With
A
UFOs
UFO
and
thing?
stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
really
yeah, I
into
saw
UFOs,
it,
eh?
yeah.
And he's not like fucking crazy about it. Like he takes an interesting and intelligent approach to it. But I get the impression that he believes very strongly that something's going on somewhere.
Well, he's seen stuff.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him,
He
dude.
sees
Like
stuff.
this. Dude, I'm watching a video. I still haven't finished it because what I do, the way I consume YouTube videos is I put them on watch. Oh, this seems interesting. I put it on watch later. And then during like lunch breaks and stuff, I'll watch a bit, you know. I'm watching a remote viewing. Have you heard about this?
No.
Ted. Remote viewing basically is these guys that they were able to see what happened somewhere, like, I don't know, 100 years ago at a certain location. They're able to like remote view. Like,
I'm sure it's much
Okay,
more
hold on,
intricate
hold on.
than what he's trying to describe.
Okay, I have to smoke a joint too, and then maybe I'll follow along.
okay,
Yeah,
remote
bro, let's go
viewing.
back to the
remote
past,
remote
bro.
viewing is the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen subject. Purportedly sensing with the mind. Typically, a remote viewer is expected to give information about an object, event, person, or location that is hidden from physical view and separated at some distance.
And how do they get the info?
You eat a big chunk of hash.
So what they do is,
Swallow a couple mushrooms?
the remote viewer, you approach them with an envelope, and they give you in the envelope. There's usually like coordinates and stuff like that. So they'll give the envelope and then go, okay, what do you see? And then they give you feedback on what they see based on the location that you gave them. So let's say you want to spy on fucking Afghanistan, right? You want to see what Al Qaeda is doing. You know, the remote viewer will be like, oh, that's weird. I see bumper cars. They seem to be enjoying themselves.
These guys get paid for this work.
Yeah, it's a big thing. The CIA,
do that.
FBI, the military use
I could
them.
do that easily.
Sign me up.
So this video that I'm watching is apparently the government approached one of these men, one of these remote viewers, and told them, and they gave him coordinates, and basically what he was describing was like these gigantic pyramids, these giant like 10-foot people, and after he opened the envelope, the target was Mars 1 million years ago, in 1 million BC. Do you understand? So this man, they gave this man a target. The target was Mars 1 million years ago
But targeting it in what sense?
to remote view it.
Okay.
But it just comes from someone's just thoughts.
Yeah, but it
Like
was
they're psychics or something.
yeah, but these guys tend to be very precise.
Yeah.
And is Chris into this, or does Chris know about this?
If he's into aliens, he for sure knows
Yeah,
about this.
okay.
So I just started watching that. It's completely fascinating. If you want, I'll show you I'll send you the video after you watch it.
You know what I
crazy.
can't figure out is if there are aliens, and I believe there must be. It would be the height of hubris for us to think that this tiny little planet in a universe of millions of galaxies and billions of stars, if not billions of galaxies and trillions of stars. Are you telling me this is the only planet capable of sustaining life? Of course it's not.
Probably not, but I was watching a couple weeks.
Sorry to interrupt. So all this, the reason why I brought this up is it's making me kind of like, oh my God, this is crazy. So let's say everything is by chance, right? Let's say by chance our planet was perfectly suitable for us to live in and blah, 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 and we evolved. Let's say that's the case. It's mathematically impossible for there to not be another planet with the same conditions as ours to have life.
I don't know if they're necessarily identical conditions, and I think that's where something like Star Wars and Star Trek might actually be closer to reality than we know, because there might be different, depending on the size of the star and the planet's distance from the star, there could be different conditions for evolution. So maybe you do got races with 3 eyes and a foot growing out of their ear, because that's the way the conditions are on the planet where they live.
I also think that there has to be some planet with some sort of life form on it. But a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast with some astrophysicist. Sorry. And he was explaining how so far what they could see and what they've been able to analyze, there is no such planet. Maybe further than that we haven't been able to discover yet. But it goes at that length. Traveling to a planet like ours is nearly impossible.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They're going to have to come to us because we're not going there.
Exactly.
I think it would take us months to get to Mars with the technology
But this is
that
to
we
explain
have.
the different phenomena that we're seeing, all the whole alien thing or whatever. Unless they have some sort of technology that allows them to travel, light years away.
Well, again, Star Trek, maybe they've got warp speed technology. Maybe they've got the, what was the thing that they used to energize, Mr. Scott? The Energizer, where they'd stand under that thing.
Oh, the teleportation thing.
Yeah.
Beam me up, Scotty, or whatever. Yeah.
So one of the solutions they may have to this is folding time and space. So you take two locations and then fold time and space, and then the travel becomes very short. That's what warp. When you warp, that's what it is. So that's
listen to Poseidon talking about the time-space continuum.
Yes,
that's what Einstein talked about, folding time and space.
No, I wouldn't know how to do it. I'm dumb as shit. But I'm just saying.
Well, it seems pretty simple how you did it. Like you just bend it here with your hands.
I know.
Like a slice of pizza. Yeah. If we fucking fold it, let's just fold it here, and I can fit the whole thing in my mouth.
On my time and space.
Shit.
See, if you grab it and you fold it, the whole thing enters your mouth. I think it's fascinating. I think these things are fascinating. And the fact that, the last couple of years, stuff has been leaked, or whether it's been leaked or if it's done purposely, we don't know, right? But for, the idea that for the first time ever, there was a congressional hearing on these things in the U.S., to me, there's something there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, when you talk to all the scientists that, seem to understand this much better than we can, obviously, they have a very interesting point of view as well. The fact that, listen, dude,
Do they say dude?
No. Some of them are
Go
cool.
ahead, Professor. Okay, dude.
All right, man. Yeah. So the idea that, the fact that from what we know right now, there's nothing that compares to what we have here on Earth. And that whole travel, unless we don't understand the physics behind it, the idea that it's practically impossible to get to our planet from the distances that we already know, there's something there as well. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to know either.
I wish we do, though.
Maybe that's the payoff in the afterlife. Maybe you find out.
Yeah. Maybe you get somewhere and you have all the answers to all your questions.
Yeah, and you get to travel around the universe, decide where you want to go.
If you were a good boy on planet Earth.
Yeah.
That's heaven and hell.
There you go.
That'd be a great afterlife, though, no?
That's what I want for an afterlife. I'd like to be able to travel time. I'd like to be able to go to whatever time I could and observe what's not participate, but just observe, because I would be a spirit, right? I wouldn't be a physical being. I would be a spirit. Just go and observe.
That's the best. I think I want that too.
So if you were good, you'd go to heaven and they'd give you all the right information. But then if you were bad, you go to hell, but they act like they're heaven. And they give you all the wrong, and they give you all the wrong information, and you walk around thinking like,
yeah, we should start a new religion based on all of that.
Wasn't there a religion like the Raelians or whatever the hell they were called?
Yeah, they were from Quebec, weren't they? The Raelians?
I think
yeah,
so.
I don't know what their thing was, but they were fucked up, man. I think they also got caught up in a big sex scandal too. I think the head Raelian
there's
was
always something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the religion was you got to blow that guy. You know,
you want to get him?
You don't go to heaven if you don't give him a blow.
They keep numbers.
You got to blow Rail, or you're not going anywhere.
that's amazing. Could you imagine?
What a great way to start the morning.
Isn't it though?
Busy,
was fun.
Busy week we had since the last episode. We're gonna get to a bunch of stuff that happened.
I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue in my sleep, so by the end of this show, I'm going to be talking like that. It's going to sound like I'm blowing Rail.
Oh my god. We wanted to get something last week. We didn't have the time, and I forgot about that as well. But we're gonna get to it today. We're gonna start it off just so we can start it off with a couple laughs. You guys obviously get these scam calls, right? And you showed me some stuff. I've never gotten messages. So I get the calls though.
But you probably don't surf as much porn as me.
What? You want my number? Sure. Here, take it. Send me a text message, sweetie. I think everyone gets those calls there.
Where they say that they're Customs Canada, we've seized a package in your name, and blah, blah, blah.
With a Chinese accent.
Yeah.
What? What's going on over here? Or sometimes it's literally just in Chinese. You're like, what the hell is this message?
I have a funny story for you guys. I was at work one time, and I got one of these scam calls, and it was the Chinese thing, like the Chinese operator. When the guy answered, I went full like racist Chinese, yelling. But the thing is, I forgot to close the door to the back store, so
everybody can hear you.
Everybody can hear me. And when I went to the front, one of my coworkers is Chinese, and the people he was serving was Chinese, and they were both staring at me.
That's the best.
Like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because they can't hear. I got a scam call.
Yeah, it's hard to tap dance your way out of that too. They don't want to hear about the scam call.
Yeah. But you're getting messages.
Yeah, what I get is I haven't gotten any in a week or two, but I get texts sometimes, usually texts on my phone line. Sometimes I'll get them on Facebook Messenger. I think there's a thing in Facebook Messenger, if you accept a friend request, the wrong one.
I don't.
Then I don't either. And then they've, and then you've subjected yourself to these scams. Anyway, they usually start out very innocuous. They're like, "Hi, how are you today?" And and I know right away when I see that okay, he's having me on. And they try to engage you and earn your trust, and then get information from you, or convince you to if they're pretending they're somebody on Facebook. I got one of these one time from someone who stole the identity of a friend of mine and wanted me to invest in whatever fund.
Yeah.
And but I'm onto them right out of the gate now. They're pretty easy to spot when you know they're coming. So I play with them now. I string them along a little bit, and then I drop the fucking bomb on them.
And you brought some examples.
Yeah.
For us. You got those up there, Poseidon?
These are from
Hold on.
Oh, this one was from last year. So this is a classic example. Okay, you see her picture there, pretty girl. How are you? And I replied, not good, explosive diarrhea. I'm Margaret. We exchanged each other's phone numbers at a business party. Do you remember? Margaret, have you ever heard of a Cleveland steamer? None. Isn't this Mr. Mike's phone number? Gotta go, Margaret. Il y a shit partout.
The fact that right after you say explosive diarrhea, they come back with, I'm Margaret. No one in the right mind.
I think she barely speaks, or he barely speaks English. I wonder if they took the time to look up Cleveland steamer on the Urban Dictionary. It's pretty nasty. Yeah, this was a French one. Banque de Montréal, vous avez reçu une nouvelle alerte. Veuillez visiter. And I responded, veuillez visiter ma face. Which apparently is wrong. It's mes fesses.
Yeah,
eh?
mes fesses,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, I learned something out of that.
okay.
People still laughed at it, though.
Ma fesse is funnier for some reason.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, it
Well,
got,
to me at least. I don't know about anybody else. But
it got a lot of laughs, that's for sure. So there was that one. That was last week. Hi, I'm Annie. Are you David, the riding instructor Tina introduced me to? Yeah, that's me. Thank you. It's fate to meet you. It's nice to meet you. I'm in the barn mucking horse shit. What do you want? I'm very sorry. I checked the number and my assistant made a mistake. I hope I'm not disturbing you. You should see the size of the organ on this horse. It looks like a goddamn Louisville slugger. Want to come over and have a look?
That's funny.
Oh my God.
And the last one, this one, I baited them enough that they responded. They fucking responded and broke their anonymity. Aren't you Jesse from Macy's? Yes, that's me. I've got the underwear you wanted me to buy. Where should we meet? I'm really looking forward to meeting you. Don't forget to bring the cock ring and the ball gag. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue, or is your tongue in the cat's asshole? And then they go to hell, okay?
This is Indian, by the way.
Yeah, how do you know?
Because every time on the phone, if they insult you and they tell you go to hell, okay? So he actually.
Oh, the okay? Is that what that is? Oh, that's
Exactly.
interesting because a couple of people mentioned that, he was asking for your approval of him telling you to go to hell.
Yeah, but that's when they speak. That's how they go fuck yourself, okay? They always add the okay.
That's
after.
great. That's great insight. Usually in the phone ones, the text ones, the area codes are usually relatively obscure American locations like South Dakota or Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah, my call, because I get calls mostly, and it's like a 613. You know that it's an Ottawa number, so you're like, oh, is this coming from the government or whatever? You know what I mean? But they're getting very, they're getting really professional. Like, remember when my Facebook page got scammed? I got a friend request from Vietnam or whatever. It seemed weird. And this was the page I had for the elections. Like, all the pictures were there, all the videos. They had built the page for me for the elections, and it had 600-700 people on it. And I wanted to keep it just, for the memories for the election. Everyone, anyone that's supported can just go and check these things out, whatever. And they send a request on there was some Vietnamese person that liked the page. And so I saw that. I'm like, oh, okay, you're from Vietnam, whatever. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. And then I get this notification that someone tried to hack into the page, but it looked like it was from Facebook. Like, they really go the length, man, these people. So there was a notification, your page there was an attempt to sign into your page, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Click to reboot to reset your password. And I swear to God, it looked exactly like a Facebook alert. I'm like, oh shit. Okay,
But it was a scammer.
yeah. So when you
Okay.
click on that link, automatically it made that person an administrator on the page. And I don't know how they do it. Like, they booted me out. Like,
Yeah.
how do you kick out another admin? I don't understand. And then within minutes, just the content was being deleted. There was pictures of Asian girls, and I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
I've noticed that on a couple of social media accounts that I maintain for these military remembrance projects. And lately I've been getting these notifications that say your account has been flagged for content that goes against community standards. Well, bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a military remembrance page. All we've got pictures of gravestones and people playing the bagpipes and the fucking trumpet at the graveyard. That doesn't go against community standards.
Yeah.
But like you say, they make it look real.
Oh, no, guaranteed.
And the first time I saw it, actually, one of the guys, the guy who I run one of the sites for, sent it to me and said, check this out. Let me know what it is.
I don't touch anything anymore. After that incident, even friend requests, and if anyone's sending friend requests that I don't answer, sorry, but
I made that mistake once too. I got a friend request from someone who I was already friends with, and I assumed that something must have happened that we got
don't
unfriended,
touch
and I
anything
clicked
anymore.
on it, and
No,
that
that's
was it. Yeah.
I don't touch anything anymore. I just leave it. And also emails. I get a lot of emails. Your bank account has been whatever, or the other day your Amazon account has been suspended, blah blah blah, and it looks exactly like it comes from Amazon. But
You
the
just
trick
look at
here,
the email address.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, because
you
if
just
it's
click on their email address and-
muddymudcakes.com and not BMO, then
yeah, exactly. So it's like the fucking 25-letter email address.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like forget about that.
But banks and even like legit places, government, they'll either send you a letter or call you.
And even the calls, they do call, but yeah, it's mostly letters. No, but you get emails. Like I get emails from my bank. It's just now. I mean, a lot of these institutions are trying to go paperless as well. So no, emails are slowly becoming more and more standard. But you don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah.
My trick is just click on the email and see if it's a fucking whole dictionary, or if it comes from TD or from your bank or whatever,
Also, what kind of a fucking scumbag do you have to be trying to rip off anybody in any scenario? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Yeah, there's sick people, but it's not new, Ted. I mean,
I know
this
it's
has
not
been
new,
going on
but I could never figure it out. How do you live with yourself
I
be
know-
that scummy?
I know
You
a
know, how do
guy-
you look in the mirror?
I
How
know-
do you go to sleep at night?
I know a guy, and I'll tell you, I don't know why I'm laughing, but this guy years ago, he was the first. I think he was the first one to try it here in Montreal, or maybe even in Canada. I don't even know. It was those the Interact scanner things, So they had put them in gas stations, so people would go put their card in to pay for their gas, and it would and it would skim their card, and they would just empty their bank accounts, It wasn't him; it was the guy behind him, and whatever. He was just the front, whatever. They got caught, obviously. They got caught, and just recently I saw him, and just to go show you how dumb people are. I ran into him, and there was a group of people, and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" This and that, and there was a criminal lawyer as well there, and they're talking about different things, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm just asking." I can't remember what the conversation was, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm just asking because I was involved in a little something there a number of years ago." Yeah. And he said it as though he was taking pride in the fact that, I was we were the first ones to bring in these scammers, these things, these credit card skimming machines or whatever. And I was looking at it and I'm like, I'd be ashamed.
Yeah.
I'd be ashamed.
Yeah. Well, obviously they have no shame, or they wouldn't do it in the first place.
Yeah.
If I was going to be a thief, I think I would limit myself to stealing from banks, insurance companies.
Yeah, where they have
like
the capacity to pay you back. kind of stuff.
Exactly,
Yeah.
where they can absorb the loss, and they're probably dishonest anyway. They're probably ripping
but
people
it's so
off themselves.
difficult to rob banks today. I have a lot of friends that work in banks. They don't carry
Well, I'm not
any-
talking about going in with a nylon
Well, yeah.
over my head and a gun. Yeah, you're not getting too far.
No,
with
but
that.
even that, they don't carry cash anymore.
Well, that's what I
banks.
mean. Yeah,
They don't.
I mean, if you're going to rob the bank these days, it would have to be like an online.
Yeah, you have to
Scam
you
of
have
some
to
kind,
figure out an
yeah.
online thing.
What a lot of people do is they don't touch people's checking accounts or savings. They touch the credit cards
Oh yeah.
to stay ethical, quote unquote.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah,
Ethical. Christ. I suppose because you get credit card protection, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
when
people don't get fucked, but the bank gets.
Are there still? Do you ever still see armored trucks going around?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They still carry cash.
yeah.
Big bundles of cash in armored trucks.
I don't see as many of them as I used to
Yeah.
see.
Because that
I
used to
see
be
some.
armored truck robberies. There have been a few in
Oh, my
Quebec,
God, yeah.
in Montreal over the years, like fatal shootings. I think.
My
Yeah.
sister used to work at the McDonald's on Beaumont.
How'd you say that?
My sister,
No,
McDonald's,
McDonald's.
the McDonald's,
The McDonald's.
the Mac, McDonald.
McDonald's, bro.
The McDonald's on Beaumont, and this was before they opened 24 hours, and they knew that when they would close up shop, like I don't know, 11:30 or what, I can't remember what time it was. There were people waiting in that parking lot. It's a huge parking lot. That whole plaza strip there
Where is that?
Rockland and Beaumont.
Yeah.
So
TMR?
in TMR. So
Yeah.
there's a McDonald's there. It's right under the bridge that goes into Outremont.
Okay.
And they would just wait in the parking lot, and the manager would come out with all the cash, and he had to go drop it into the bank there, the big fucking window that they have there, and there was a bank in that strip mall. I guess that's where they had their account. That poor guy got beaten. I don't know how many
Oh,
times.
no doubt. Fuck, at some point you might want to have an armed guard go
Well,
with him.
there you go. So then I think they just turned it into a 24-hour thing, and they brought the armored vehicles to
Right.
come and carry the cash for them.
Right.
So yeah, people
You guys still use cash?
sometimes.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
cash.
Do you?
Cash is king.
Yeah, but less and less.
yeah,
It's
less,
not.
for
It's not unusual for me not to have a penny on me. You
Oh,
know?
me too.
Yeah.
Very often I have nothing on me.
Yeah.
Just a plastic card. The last I have cash on me now, and that's just because a couple weeks ago we went to, actually last weekend we went to a wedding in Ottawa, and I went to withdraw money to put in the card, and I'm like, I don't know what's there. I mean, is it going to be an open bar thing? Are we going to have to buy stuff? I'm like, let me just take some extra cash and have on me, and I haven't spent it because
I
I still go to the card as a reflex.
Yeah, I got $15 on me. I can make that last until Christmas.
Easily. Easily.
And when I was a kid, I could make it last until Christmas even without cards.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of thieves and stuff, this would be an interesting news topics for you guys that I saw yesterday. So did you know you can invest in Somalian pirates?
Really?
Yep. So you could take money, so you could buy weapons for them, or straight up give them money, and they'll use the money however.
What's the return on the investment?
3,000%. So this one lady, she invested 2,000. She bought an RPG for these pirates, and she got back like something like 75,000 from a raid that succeeded.
So they actually follow up. They're like, oh, okay, thanks for that. We'll
'cause
send you.
if they fuck over everyone, then people are gonna stop sending them money. You know what I mean? So she got a cut.
You know,
from
it takes
the raid.
balls to actually trust a thief to
Yeah,
give
no
you
kidding,
back
eh?
money
Yeah.
on your investment. Can you
Yeah.
imagine
Honor
that?
among thieves.
Yeah.
Who knew? Yeah.
I don't know how true this is, but apparently you could invest directly into
You know
the
what?
Somalian
At this
pirate
point,
raids.
nothing surprises me. The saddest one that I've heard, and this still goes on, when I was working in politics, we're working very closely with the police, in Villeray and Park Exit in general, with the police departments. And there was a program that was put in place to sensitize the seniors because they were getting calls. So like they would get a call, hi, whatever her name is, Madame Violette or whatever. Your grandson asked me to call you. He's in big trouble.
Yeah.
He's not able to call. He like whatever. They make up a story and they're like,
You got to send money.
Yeah, no. He needs money right now. So if you want, I'll pass by and just pick up the money right now. And they would fall for it.
Yeah.
They would fall for it, like thousands of dollars. They would empty these seniors' bank accounts, and then good luck finding them. There's no trace. Everything is cash. So it was horrible. And there was a whole program on sensitizing seniors, on just asking questions, right? Oh, which grandkid? Who?
Yeah.
Like just force them to.
Yeah, so you don't
make a
have to ask too
mistake
many
or whatever.
questions to figure out that they're full of shit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's sad, man, because I mean, like you think of your own, parents
Yeah,
or aunts that
exactly,
are
yeah.
of an advanced age,
And who are worried about, they hear your
absolutely,
grandson's
dude, they
in
get a
trouble.
call.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my grandson, what the hell happened to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Here, come. What do you need? And it happened to the colleague that I was working with in our office. Her mom. It happened twice. Like, I mean, you think she'd learn the first time, but they got her a fucking second time.
Wow.
They emptied her account. Yeah, horrible stuff.
All right, we're going to invest in Somali pirates. This
So-
is gonna be my retirement.
This is
plan.
it. This is the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The insanely lucrative pirate stock exchange in Somalia. So, occurred in Amsterdam.
Modern stock trading.
Yeah, no, because you could. There's a whole business behind it. Has managed to
okay.
preserve a good deal of the Dutch East India Company's original spirit. So, if you guys want to read this, do you want to read it out loud?
Nah,
Ted?
it's okay.
No.
No.
So basically, it's like a stock. You could literally invest in it, like you would a stock,
Yeah.
and you get returns basically on successful raids. Dude, the world is turning more and more into like a RPG video game,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'm against it or for it.
My father used to travel in those waters.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah,
What did he
my
do?
father was he was a mechanic on a cargo ship,
Yeah.
which a lot of Greeks were. I mean, it was an opportunity for them to leave the country back in the 50s, and
You still want to read this?
He would travel a lot in that area, and he told me that every time they would pass by those waters, they would fear their lives.
The eastern coast.
It's the eastern coast of Africa.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, like, I mean, if
So
you're
what is that?
passing-
Indian Ocean, eh?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Indian Ocean. Or it could be the as you come out of the Suez Canal
Right.
into the Indian Ocean. So that passage over there is quite busy. So my dad used to travel a lot through the Suez Canal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You ever tell you stories about it?
They never saw any pirates, but they
No.
they
But I
were
mean, did
afraid.
you just ever tell you stories about being out at sea like that? That must have been interesting.
There was a time where I can't remember the year. Egypt closed down the Suez Canal in protest of I don't know what exactly. It was a huge.
Well,
political thing.
When did he come here?
My dad came here in the late 60s, 68.
Okay, because
I
67,
think.
there was a big fucking war in Israel, between Israel and Egypt
Right,
in 67.
right.
67 and again 73.
Yeah, but before that, I can't remember when it was, maybe late 50s, early 60s, I can't remember. The Suez Canal shut down. So all the boats were forced to actually go around Africa to make it to like India, for
Jesus,
example, or
perfect.
whatever. He's been, and you're at sea for
That's
like,
going the long way, man.
yeah, and we're talking about hundreds of days in the
Yeah.
sea. Just all you see is just water and nothing else.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of these stories. Let's get to our side of things. Ted, you sent me a list of stuff that you want to talk about, and I was like, you know what? I have the exact same thing I want to talk about, and it's the thing that everyone's been talking about over the last week: the embarrassment that is our prime minister.
What has he done now? What is it now? I know that is it the prime minister or president? It's prime minister in India,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He chewed him a new asshole at the G20, right?
Yeah. But it's not new. I mean, the relation between Canada and India since Trudeau's been in power is not the best.
And is that because Trudeau kowtows to the Sikh diaspora in Canada?
A main issue is that Trudeau is very, and it's very difficult for us to kind of comprehend this. And I don't blame Trudeau for this, right? I mean, you're in Canada. The issues that exist back home in India don't necessarily exist over here, even though India says that, the Sikhs, the Khalistani, the separate faction of Sikhs that are considered terrorists in India.
Yeah.
They have a huge presence in Canada. And look, I worked with the Indian community. I have a lot of friends in the Sikh community. I would go to their temples. There's 2 in Park X. Very good people, honest people, hardworking people, family oriented. A lot of them have businesses. They're successful. I never once came across any issue like this. Now, I understand that back home, politically, it's different.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Trudeau for what he's done.
Yeah.
So Trudeau, for those who don't know, there's a lot of Indians in his caucus from Ontario and from the western part of Canada. From Quebec, I don't think there is a couple from Quebec. And there was a few Sikhs that actually made it to cabinet. Like the former defense minister. There's I don't know the names. Arjit Sajan or whatever his name is.
Buddy who said he won the Afghan war all by himself.
We have the Canadian.
I planned that.
The Canadian Rambo is a cabinet minister in Ottawa. So because of these nominations, almost from the very beginning, there was some negative feedback coming out of India. And since then, I think that the climate hasn't really been proper there between Canada and India. Now, the first trip that Justin officially went to in India, I think it was in the early 2017.
That was a fucking clown show.
It was horrible.
2018.
It was in 2000.
That was really embarrassing.
It was in the beginning of 2018.
That was a cringe fest.
I mean, he took his entire family, which is fine. I mean, you can take your family if you want to, but they also brought a huge fucking suitcase full of traditional Indian clothing.
They played dress up.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Well, I think he thought that he was doing the right thing. And
But how do you think
I don't know
about that when you know that
because you're that far out of touch of reality. You grew up that far outside the mainstream that you think that you're going to impress the people of India by dressing like
You
them.
know what worries me, Ted? Okay, fine. You think that way. Okay, maybe you're disconnected. is there not just one person in your entourage to take you and sit you down and say, sir, Mr. Trudeau, Mr. Prime Minister, we shouldn't do this. It's
Maybe
not proper.
nobody with the guts to do it.
I
Maybe
don't know.
nobody with the courage
In any
to do
case,
it.
that first trip was
The worst was the dancing.
it was horrible.
dancing
But I've
was
seen
the
him dance
worst.
here too.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. You know, he does it for the camera. He does it for the pictures. People like it. They cheer him. Whatever. He looks stupid.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's the least of the thing. I mean, going around with your entire family dressed up. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? You're the leader of a country, of a G7 country. You know, can you dress like it? Can you act like it? So it was horrible. They mocked him in India. They mocked him over here. And this time around was the second official state visit. He went with his son. And everybody obviously was just waiting to see what was going to happen. At least this time he was dressed properly.
Yeah.
But it was the G20. And he got snubbed completely from the Indian Prime Minister. There were a couple official events that they hosted to which either he wasn't invited or he didn't go to. Still not clear. The press releases that came out of that meeting were very, like nothing exciting. The pictures that came out of that meeting were also very indicative of tension that existed. It's just
The meeting between him and is it
and
Modi. Is that his name?
Yeah, Narendra Modi. So just horrible. And then I read an article where all the other state leaders were picked up in these luxury vehicles, and they send like a Toyota 4Runner to pick up Justin Trudeau. You know what I mean? It's just
Forerunners are nice. I take the
Oh,
Forerunner.
dude, Forerunners?
Yeah.
These cars are tanks, bro.
Yeah.
You can go over any speed bump like it's nothing.
and there's
But
a
you're
pic-
right. It's not a limo.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
You know, everyone's
yeah.
going around in luxury vehicles, like, oh, Mr. President or Mr. Prime Minister. Then Trudeau, here, go in the safari Jeep. Fuck, you know what I mean? Here, we'll bring you to wherever you want. And then, in addition to all this, it's not enough that whole meeting didn't go well. But you know what? I have a feeling that they were expecting it to go bad. So it's not like they were shocked. Like, oh, why? Why am I not being treated respectfully? I think they knew what they were expecting. So in addition to all that, I mean, I put myself in their shoes. They're like, oh, fuck, I just can't wait to get the hell out of here. Let's get off. Let's get on with this meeting, trying to diplomatically answer positive things to all the media that kept asking questions about all these relations and the tensions. Oh, no, don't worry. They're trying to bring everything down. In addition to all that, you try to leave and your plane is broken. You're stuck there for another 2 days. The Canadian military had to send a plane over to pick them up, the entire delegation. Because your plane is full of shit. Like, so not only can you not take care of your country, your plane is falling apart as well.
Well, it might have been a blessing in disguise because the plane became the story
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
The
But that's
friction
embarrassing.
between him and
You're right. Maybe it is a blessing because
Yeah.
nobody's focusing on the other
Exactly.
embarrassment,
Yeah.
the other embarrassing things that happened during that meeting. But I mean, when have you heard of any other leader whose plane breaks down? Like, you're carrying the prime minister. What happens if that plane just fucking crashes? Are you kidding me, man?
he flies private too, eh? He doesn't. Does he fly on government jets?
No. There's a state plane.
It's a government jet.
Yeah.
I've sat in the prime minister's seat on a government of Canada Airbus when I went to Bosnia with the military in 2001.
Brag.
I went over there as a media observer for they're putting the final touches on the peace treaty, and we were on I guess it was a military Airbus, and whoever was overseeing the media on the trip, the army officer said, "Come here, you want to see the prime minister's office? You want to sit in his chair?"
That's
sure.
cool.
So I got to sit in his chair on the plane. It was Chrétien at the time,
Yeah.
2001. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Justin is grooming his son
I don't think so.
for political office? I mean,
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know that Pierre necessarily groomed Justin.
I don't think so
I think-
either,
I think
and-
Pierre would have known better.
Yeah.
And I think it was after Pierre was gone. Well, Justin basically launched his political career over his father's coffin with that eulogy at the funeral.
Yeah, that
was-
pretty much. That brought him out of the shadow kind of thing.
Yeah,
It
that put him on the map.
It put him on the map. But and after that, when people were suspecting, oh wow, this guy, this is nice. What a public speaker, blah blah blah. He kept getting interviewed, and there's a lot of footage out there of him saying that he would never do politics. he got traumatized as a kid. You know, he saw the relationship between his dad and his mom kind of disintegrate publicly in front of everyone to watch. And I don't think there was any interest. I have a feeling that he probably feels the same with his kids, but who knows? I just think that it's interesting when your kids reach a certain age where they're kind of independent to experience these moments. Like, I have no issue with him bringing his kids. Like,
No,
I would certainly love to do that. I mean, if my father was prime minister, to be going all over the world, meeting world leaders and experiencing all these things. I mean, it's quite the experience for a youngster. But I don't think
Who is the older boy? Xavier?
Xavier, yeah. Xavier was when Trudeau came, when he started campaigning, he was just born. I think he in 2007. So that would make him what now? 20,
13 and 16.
16.
Yeah.
16 years old. 16, 17. So yeah, he was a newborn. He was going around with him.
And is he the eldest or is the sister older?
No, he's the eldest.
He
Then
is,
there
eh?
was the girl and the little boy.
Yeah.
But we're talking about this the other day. We're exchanging and we're going to talk a little bit about the convention that happened, the Conservative Party's convention that happened in Quebec City last weekend, which was a huge success. And all these videos are coming out with Poilievre criticizing the government, and with everything happening with Justin Trudeau, it's as if they're making it easy for the opposition to criticize them. And we're exchanging now, and I was saying, it's weird because I don't see the Justin Trudeau that we're used to seeing for a number of years now, where he has his marketing team and his social media team. They were on the ball. There were videos coming out. There was they were pumping content like crazy.
He's keeping a low profile, eh?
Isn't that strange? I mean,
Well,
I've
maybe he's
noticed
getting
that. I don't
ready
know
to,
if you've
maybe he's
noticed
getting ready
anything.
to resign because I think the writing's on the wall. No, he's not going to win the next election, is he? If the polls don't change dramatically.
Yeah. I mean, look, anything can change.
Yeah.
It seems as though now the Conservatives are riding on this huge wave. But then again, he doesn't care. He can take it all the way until 2025 if he wants to, We spoke about that in the previous episodes, but it's just interesting to me that to notice these things, right? And it's like, where are you? You're being attacked. Your government is being attacked. These guys are floating into the sky. I mean, everyone is looking at Poilievre. He's the young guy. He's speaking. Maybe not. I don't know if you consider it truth, depending on where you are. But I mean, he's starting to talk about things that matter for your pocket, right? Affordable housing, better jobs, that sort of thing. And it reaches out to everyone. Everyone can relate to things that he's saying. And you have Trudeau that is nearly absent. Nearly absent.
Well, he's gone through a family breakup. That might have something to do with it.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Deal with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still have a
You still
job
have to be
do.
prime minister. I understand.
And I know a lot of his people behind the scenes. I know Adam, his photographer, and a bunch of other guys that are in his social media and kind of content creation team.
You like know them personally?
Yeah. Adam is a super guy. He's been on my podcast. A great kid, and in my opinion, one of the best photojournalists. I mean, his photographer is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Trudeau's photographer, Adam, is phenomenal, super talented kid. So he's with him everywhere. And he had told me that there's a team, because I had asked him, I was like, dude, how do you have time to do all this? He goes, I'm not alone. There's another 2 photographers. Sometimes we rotate. I'm in charge of that whole thing there. But in addition to that, there's a couple of videographers. I mean, he has a team, which he should. I mean, today, with all the social media stuff, I mean, if you're leading a party and you don't have a team of maybe 5-6 people to just pump out content, you're putting yourself at a fault there. So they have a huge team, and that impressed me because I saw it immediately. As soon as Justin Trudeau came into power, took over the Liberal Party of Canada, I was on their mailing list, and I was getting fucking emails like crazy. I had to unsubscribe. I'm like, leave me alone. Just nonstop. It's gone. I don't see anything happening now. So I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
It's weird to me to see a guy who became popular because of that whole selfie movement. Remember, Justin Trudeau was the guy that he came in at the same time where social media became a thing. It was him and Barack Obama around the same time, and that it moved everyone to go onto these social media platforms to follow these politicians. So he came up with this kind of wave, and to see him now kind of pulling back, I don't know if it's done on purpose or if there's an issue. If there's no people, have they left? Are they bringing new people? Like, I don't know what's happening, But I've definitely noticed.
Well, I think the fact that
like there's no response. Like, sorry, he's being attacked, and there's zero response coming out of the PMO.
it could be just because you get a lot of hate at some point, bro. You give up.
But he's always gotten hate, dude. I've
not
seen
like
shit.
this. Not like this. Not like this. This is intense. This
No,
is, no.
He's been hated from day one. I remember his
but
first election in
hold on.
2008.
He's been hated more. George, you can't tell me I understand he's
Obviously,
been
as a
hated.
party leader and as the prime minister, you're going to be hated across the country. But I've seen it at a smaller scale here. It was like, guys, take it easy, man.
No, but we agree it's the worst that it's ever been.
I think
for
so.
this guy.
I think
Obviously.
so. I think so.
So at some point,
And it's normal, right? Through the lifespan
being.
of a government, at some point you reach a point, you reach a phase where there's more discontent than there is support. People are getting tired of the government. It's normal, right? It's just a normal wave.
It runs its course,
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think he's there now. I don't know how he's going to flip it around, and especially since I'm noticing that there's a almost complete absence from social media. I don't understand what the strategy is, or if there even is a strategy.
What did you think about the Liberal cabinet ministers, Guilbeault and Kenny Rogers, gate crashing the? It's not Kenny Rogers. It looks like Kenny Rogers.
I know you're talking about
Pablo Rodriguez. Is it Pablo Rodriguez?
Pablo
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
Gate crashing the conservative convention. I thought it reeked of desperation.
I've never seen that in my life, Ted. I obviously I've participated in tons of conventions. Never in my life have I seen any elected members of parliament from the opposition
Show up at another
show
party's
up
convention.
at the door and organize a press conference. Never seen that in my life. First of all, it didn't work. It didn't work. Like, you didn't crash anything.
No, well, like I say, to me it reeked of desperation, and I think to most people it did.
But I understand the point of it. I mean,
No, nor
why do
do
you have
I.
to go there? I mean, what's the purpose? Okay, obviously you go there, like, if you want to reach out to the media, they're obviously all there. I get it. But do you have to be there in person? I've never seen that. Never in my life. Even when we were in opposition, the last thing on our mind is, let's go crash the PQ's convention. What? What the fuck? Like, who thinks of these things?
I don't know. Maybe trying to create a distraction, but to what end? I don't know. I don't know what the point.
The
of
stuff
it
they
would
said
be.
was meaningless. I didn't understand the purpose
Well,
of it.
Guilbeault's, his was so predictable. They don't have a climate plan.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Go climb a fucking tower.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I'd be scared because for me it would be hostile territory. You're one person going
true.
to a convention where thousands of conservatives are united and they're fucking
and Guilbeault
cheering.
is not likable at all.
At all, especially not the conservatives
Yeah.
out west, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that, and I guess there's always a first. That to me was a first. I'm like, what the fuck are you? I couldn't believe it. I thought they were somewhere else, and then I read that they were at the. I come up, oh, that's Quebec City. That's the convention center. What the hell are they doing there? I don't get it.
Where's Rodriguez from?
He's Argentinian.
Mm-hmm.
They fled Argentina with the whole political crisis. I think his parents were engaged politically, and they left as political refugees. They came to Montreal. He gets elected in the
He's
East End
from
of-
here?
No, I think he's born in Argentina.
No, but I mean...
Oh, he's in Montreal.
Politically, his riding is here?
Yeah.
It's
It's RDP. It's
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's the East End of Montreal. Yeah.
Okay.
He lost it. He lost it to the NDP with the whole wave, and now he came back.
You got it back?
He got it back. He's pretty popular. I mean, he's been there for a long time, Pablo Rodriguez. I remember Pablo Rodriguez when he didn't have white hair.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how long he's been doing it. I think he's interested. I think Pablo Rodriguez is one of those names that can maybe put his
Interested
name,
in being the leader? Yeah.
put his name in the race. I would see him. He's a good-looking guy. He speaks well.
Yeah, he's very he's attractive as a candidate, that's for sure.
Yeah, but he's fucked up. I mean, he's behind Bill C-11 and Bill C-18, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know how well that's gonna work. I mean, they've shot themselves, on the foot several times. So I don't know what's gonna happen. First of all, we don't even know if Trudeau's gonna stay on or not. It seems, with what we're seeing, it seems more and more unlikely that he even wants to. I don't know. I'm just feeling that he's not there anymore.
Right.
I don't know.
What was the upshot to holding the convention in Quebec City, did that end up having any upside for the Conservatives, or was it just a place to have it?
No. It's not a coincidence. They were in Quebec City for a reason. Quebec City is going to become an important battlefield for all parties. We're seeing the polls right now, and we spoke about them in previous episodes, where Poilievre is pretty much leading the polls everywhere across Canada except for Quebec, because you have the Bloc Québécois and the Liberals that are kind of neck and neck.
But you said the Conservatives do well around Quebec City, or better around Quebec City
Yeah,
than
he
they
has,
do,
I think,
than
10
they
or
do in the rest of Quebec.
Yeah, I think he has around 10 or 11 seats around the region of Quebec, which
That's
was
not
always
bad.
very conservative.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not what Mulroney had, right? I mean,
but
so
still,
they're
it's-
far from that.
Yeah.
But even Harper, I think he didn't have more than that either. So I mean, they're in the range, right? He wants to go get more. He's banking on the fact that the Bloc is becoming more and more popular in Quebec. So if the Bloc Québécois manages to get a lot of the regional seats that the Liberals picked up, to him it's an advantage. So there's less Liberals getting elected, which means that it benefits him for his majority. He needs Quebec Conservatives to show up. He saw the wave that happened in the provincial elections with Éric Duhaime, with a Quebec Conservative Party. They have absolutely no link between the two, even though Éric Duhaime, I feel that he wants to have that recognition from the federal. I don't think he's going to get it. But the fact that Éric Duhaime managed to get over 50,000 members is something. Like, I mean, it's way more than what the Conservatives, the federal Conservatives have in Quebec. Way
yeah?
more. Oh, yeah. There is no party, Canadian or provincial, that has 50,000 members in Quebec. It doesn't exist. He's the one. I don't know how the fuck he did it.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he took advantage of that whole anti-COVID movement and the vaccine shit. All the frustrated people went straight to the Conservative
They
Party.
did, eh?
So 50,000 people is no joke. And I think Poilievre wants to dip into that. So it's no coincidence that he did his thing in Quebec. Very successful convention. Poilievre is a fucking great speaker. I don't know if you guys heard the speech. I didn't hear the whole thing. It was over an hour, but I heard clips of it. He's just, there's this ease with which he speaks. And what I like is that he put aside that aggressive side of Poilievre that we're used to seeing, and he's much more common sense. And in fact, that's what he says. It's more common sense. He says that all the time in his speech, and it's true. It is common sense. It's stuff that everyone relates to, everyday stuff that we're missing or that we don't have, or that we've lost or that we can't afford. So he's nailing in those things, and in my opinion, that's very much NDP territory. Talking about affordable housing, better jobs, like that's NDP territory, which is weird because this is a conservative leader.
But everybody wants affordable housing and better jobs,
Of
don't
course,
they?
yeah. But those were the themes that you would hear the NDP kind of hammer, right?
So if not those themes, what would you expect to hear from the Conservatives?
Those are the themes. I mean, Conservatives usually they would talk a lot about the economy, the fiscal responsibility, sound governance. They would talk a lot about defense. They had an important position on foreign affairs. Obviously, when you talk about economy, you have to see what trickles down, right? When you talk about economy, but they never went into specifics. That was usually the territory of the Liberals and the NDP, and this guy's going right there now, right?
They went down the social conservative rabbit hole too, did they not? With some
over
of
the
their
weekend,
resolutions?
and that was expected. Some of them passed, like banning those the interventions for
Puberty blockers,
and
or surgical intervention
for minors.
Yeah.
I mean, some call that social conservatism, but if you came to me and
that
told
falls
me,
under common sense to me.
I mean, if your 9-year-old kid wants to have a sex change, it's an issue.
Yeah.
It's for me, and it's fine if down the line my kid wants to change sex, but at 9 years old, do they fully understand? I don't think so.
No,
I think it's much more psychological than anything else.
If a grown-up wants to go down that road, then I don't get it, but have at it. But,
I don't mind it. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, but
a child,
not kids.
Yeah, minors. Like, I don't know, man.
And it's become a social contagion and kids are very vulnerable to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a lot of kids in school now, you're not cool if you're not part of the LGBTQ
look,
plus
there's a
community,
lot of
or that's how you can become cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of anxiety in these youngsters that, they're looking for their identity, their sexual identity, and maybe it does happen at an early age. I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and they've told me that, look, grade 1, grade 2, we know who's going to turn out gay. We know it. We see it, right? And it's fine. Problem is that it's the parents that need to be educated on how to support their kids and how not to make it fucking weird, and how not to force their kids to think differently. You know what I mean?
For some parents, their kids are becoming like the whole trans thing is like my kid's going to be trans, like a fucking pet dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's a thing. It's like a designer handbag for them.
It's funny that
I've got a trans kid.
it's
I knew what my sexuality was right out of the gate when I was 12 years old and saw Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek with that skirt up to here, sitting at the.
It took you 12 years. My goodness.
However old I was.
I was 6 years old taking a nap in kindergarten, and the teacher kind of walked over and I saw through her skirt and I was like, holy shit, yeah.
Me was 10 years
I like
old.
nap time. Yeah, let's go.
I was 10. I had 2 instances that I knew. You guys want to hear?
No. Well, hold on. But no, because I want to, now that we're on the topic, because I had a conversation with my friend who's a teacher. It was actually last week. And we're talking about a situation, exactly this conversation, right? Where almost automatically if kids are gay, or, from a very young age, some kids do show signs. And there was one particular case that she told me about. It was a boy, and it was obvious. And it was obvious from grade 1. She's had that kid from grade 1. And the parents were so strict. They were telling teachers, look, can you push my boy to play with boys? And, we don't want him doing any girly stuff and shit like that. So these are parents who obviously are closed-minded. Yeah. They have their own kind of ideology on the thing. And you can't force the teachers to do something like that, right? And the parents wanted nothing to know about the fact that their kid might be gay. And there was all this pressure on the kid, an enormous pressure, to the point where... And she showed me pictures on the phone. She goes, look what happened to this guy on Facebook. He found some sugar daddy or whatever, like 14 years old, 14, 15 years old, somewhere there.
God damn.
To pay the entire surgery. He looks like a girl, like it's a girl. He doesn't even look like a male who transitioned. He's full out a woman.
Like a girl. Yeah.
And not only that, it's this provocative thing, like pictures with thongs and like this hypersexualization. And I was like, that's the kid? I know the kid's parents. I hadn't met the kid. I had met the kid when he was really young. And I was like, are you kidding me? And she goes, yeah, whether it was going to happen or not is fine, like at a certain age. But she's convinced that had the parents, and now they don't speak, obviously, like the kid, they disowned the kid. They don't even mention the kid. And that's tragic, right?
Sucks,
it's tragic because I'm a parent.
Me too.
The last thing I want is to lose my kids, right? You don't want to reach a point where you're like, don't even talk to me anymore. I don't know you exist.
Not under any circumstance.
I don't even want to imagine it.
Figure it out. Let's figure it out.
So, of course, she's no expert, but I mean, she's seen so many cases, this my friend, and she's like, had the parents supported or...
being accepting and open-minded.
Maybe you would just have a son that is gay.
Who's gay.
You know what I mean? And again, we're not saying that we're against transitioning. That's fine. But she believes that the reason why it got there was that the boy, in a way of...
well, he must have felt rejected by his parents.
Obviously, he didn't feel wanted. And I think it's more of a sense of kind of retribution, like... yeah, that's how you are. This is what I'm going to do, kind of thing, right? Look, I hope he's happy in his new body and in his new life. But it's crazy. It's crazy to know and to think that there are parents there that don't understand. Like, what are you going to change? What are you going to change? So, coming full circle to the conservative convention, there were some propositions that were kind of controversial in that respect. Which ended up passing. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that it's binding in any way, shape, or form for Poiliev to either accept them or to pass them and to put them in the platform as though that this is what they're going to do. They have zero binding effect. but it's still the what the important part of your membership wants. And can you neglect it? I mean, they were passed by around 65, 70%. So like almost 2/3 of the convention wants these policies to go through. Are you going to do them? I don't know. Poilievre was very careful in avoiding this topic throughout the entire weekend, and he was interviewed by the media, and his line was, listen, let's debate. The important thing today is to have a debate, to discuss, to exchange, and the members are free to vote whatever they want. I mean, it's their right, and they should do it. And he was very careful not to give his opinion and not to answer these questions. One in particular that was supposed to, a resolution that was supposed to be tabled, and finally it wasn't, was a resolution to defund the CBC and Radio-Canada together. We know that Poilievre said that he wants to defund CBC, but not the French equivalent, because he feels that the Francophone community has that right to have that content, whereas the CBC...
we wouldn't miss it.
Not only that, there's nothing that they offer that we wouldn't be able to get it on any private channel. So why the hell should we be funding
Well,
it?
could you not get what you get on Radio-Canada? Can you not get it on LCN or TVA?
I don't know, probably, but in the Francophone communities, like the Franco-Manitobans or the
Oh, I see what you mean.
Franco-Ontarians.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
Yeah.
When are we going to hear about the first 2 times Poseidon got a hard on? Sorry? You wanted to tell us about the first 2 times you got a hard on.
Oh, I remember. So the first time was we were playing. You know the movie Under Siege by Steven Seagal.
Yeah, classic.
Okay, so my father recorded it on a VHS. That's how he got it on a VHS tape, and then after the tape ended, I guess he went to bed or whatever. He recorded hardcore ebony porn. So one day we watch Under Siege. I'm with my friends in the living room. We watch it, and then we go to and then my mother's like, "Food's ready, come and eat." Movie ends, credits are playing. We go to the kitchen, we start eating. I don't press pause or anything. I'm like, it's gonna stop, We get to the kitchen, we hear a whole commotion coming from the living room, like loud, like she's like, "What the fuck is that? Go check." So then I'm 10, I go and I see, and there's an ebony couple, on a love seat, and he's absolutely demolishing her. He's going to pound town on this, legs behind her head. He's just fucking giving it to her. So I freeze. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Your mom runs in?
My mom runs, "That daughter!" She freaks out, She takes the tape. She takes it away. That was the first time. And then my friend is like, "Yo, check this out." And he showed me like porno websites and everything. The second time was that same year when I was 10. I was in Greece. And we were at this beach with my aunt. And in beaches in Greece, they remove the top usually.
Yeah.
My aunt, at the time, gorgeous woman, decides to take her top off.
Turned on by your aunt there.
Well, hold on. I didn't know the concept of incest, my dear friend. I was 10 years old. I was not,
okay.
And Ted, you know where this is going, don't you?
So your aunt takes off her top?
She takes off her top. Beautiful breasts.
Nice
my
rack,
aunt.
yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't stop staring at them.
Nice.
I was a kid.
What's
and
aunt in Greek?
Thea.
Thea. Thea. Nice rack.
Yeah, and I kept every time like I kept trying to look at them, but like not like
You trying to
slick
sneak a
about-
peek?
Yeah, exactly. But then like I wasn't slick, obviously, and my mother yelled at me. She was like, "Stop looking at your hands, fucking tits," She's your fucking aunt.
This is Poseidon being sneaky.
Yeah.
Good staring. That's so fucking funny.
Those were my 2 instances where I knew I was like, okay, I know what I like.
My aunt.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Oh shit.
Did you guys, speaking of this whole, trans issue and gender neutral facilities and all that stuff, the issue has trickled down also to Quebec. And yesterday was the first day. There was the parliamentary session started again up in Quebec City. And one of the first questions that they asked the education minister was this will from several schools to convert their bathrooms into gender-neutral bathrooms, so you can have boys and girls. And this is high school, and they wanted to know his opinion. He automatically expressed his concern about it. He goes, "Look, I don't think we should be doing that." I mean, he gave his reasons. I don't think he's wrong. But there's just seems to be this movement to kind of jump on that train. I don't understand it. I don't see why kids should share bathrooms, especially in high school.
No, they're not emotionally mature enough to share bathrooms.
But it just goes
Fuck, I'm 64. I don't want to share a bathroom with a woman. They got shared bathrooms at the Willow out in Hudson, the famous Willow Inn. They started that a couple of years ago. I was out there, and I'm standing in the women's line, right? Or it's a mixed line, but you've been to big public events before. The women's line goes around the fucking block. The guys are in and out, and the women are like, "What are you doing in there, ladies?
Yeah.
Are you reading the Bible?" Are you almost done? I'm just reading Psalms. I'll be out soon. Fuck.
Yeah, no. So
I don't care about the privacy thing. I just don't want to take that fucking long.
the question that I have, and obviously I really don't have any information, and again, to anyone listening, we're not fucking experts here. The fact, though, that high schools are trying to make this sort of transition, does it indicate that there are more and more kids at that young age that are expressing this desire to be called differently, or hey, call me Joanne? Is that happening more and more?
I don't think it is, and if it is, I think it's because of influence from adults who are driving that agenda. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. But then again, there has to be some sort of responsibility towards these institutions like the schools and everything to actually take.
Somebody's got to stand up, and I give Drainville credit for standing up. He stood up and said, "No, we're not doing that in Quebec schools."
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he can force them. I mean, can he? Probably he could. But
he must have some power as education minister when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, because the reason why he was asked this question is because some schools have already started making these changes or thinking of making these changes. So can the schools make these changes without the green light from the minister? I don't know how it works.
I don't know the regs in the education department. I would be surprised, though, if they could without his... that seems to me like a fairly drastic measure to be undertaken without the approval of the Minister of Education.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how things unfold, because the PQ leader, Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, called for a special government committee, a parliamentary committee, to actually study this question. He's like, listen, we can't fall victim to, and he called them radical left ideologies. I mean, I don't think it's a radical left ideology, but he says that, everyone is falling victim to these radical left ideologies, and we're just, catering to all these people without even thinking through what the consequences and repercussions can be. And he said, we're definitely not experts. We should maybe look into creating a parliamentary committee where we can bring experts on these different issues to inform us, so that we can have a proper discussion, so that we can have a proper exchange to see what direction the government should take on these matters, right? I don't think he's wrong.
How easy do you think it would be to find experts on either side that aren't biased and don't have an agenda?
Well, look,
because it's a pretty polarizing issue. There aren't too many people that are in the middle on that, experts or otherwise, I don't think. I think people have pretty hard and fast opinions on how they feel about gender identity.
No, I understand, and you're not wrong. But at the same time, depending on politicians to make a decision just like that is even more ridiculous, because clearly they don't understand either. So, I mean, can you imagine the government just coming out and saying, okay, this is the policy now? What? Since when? How? And I think Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon is right.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a change if it would just be the same policy that it's always been. The boys have their bathroom and the girls have their bathroom.
Or it could be the opposite. What if they say, look, the schools can do what they want?
Okay, well, that would be a change of policy for sure. Yeah.
But then again, how, what are you basing yourself on to make these decisions, right? I mean,
Can I say something
So
about this?
I don't think he's wrong in
I'm
the
sorry
sense
to
that
intervene
I
about
don't think
this.
he's wrong. I think bring the experts. Do we have experts? Which experts? Maybe we don't have them here. Maybe we'll fly them in from elsewhere. I don't know. But can we have this conversation? I think if it's something that we're seeing more and more often, then maybe the government needs to adopt a position.
Can I address something about this? I was in Toronto and I went to a place, and this was in the church basement. The bathrooms.
You were at an AA meeting?
No, it was,
I had no idea.
No, it
You
was-
want to hit Nooners after the podcast?
no, this was for a fight. They were holding a fight event at the church basement,
Okay.
and which is fucking insane. Just saying that, but anyways, the bathrooms said men's bathroom and then gender neutral bathroom. I've noticed most of the time it's the women's bathroom that are under attack. Why is that? I find that a little bit suspicious.
Was there no women's bathroom?
There
was just
it,
men's
well, it
and
was a
gender
sign.
neutral?
It was a sign for a women's bathroom, and then
it
it
also
wrote
said gender neutral.
It wrote gender neutral bathroom. But for the men, it had the sign of a man, and it said men's bathroom.
So it had men's bathroom separately and
Yeah.
then gender neutral for
Yeah.
women and.
But why is it? I find it suspicious that they do this to the women's.
It's all part of the patriarchy.
No. But think about it.
So what
I'm
about?
not kidding.
So what happens to the women that transition into men? They go into the women gender neutral bathroom. They don't go to the men's bathroom.
I think so.
This is so confusing to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm old school and I don't understand. Like I understand transitioning, like I get that. But if you're a woman that transitioned into a male, then you have a penis. Then go piss with them. I don't know. I mean, if that's what you identify, I mean, what's the fear? The fear is having a former man transitioned into a woman going into a woman's bathroom, as if that's going to do anything.
Well,
He's not interested in
Some women are feeling like their spaces are being invaded by this whole thing.
Which
And they're not
which
happy
then he'd
about
be
it.
right. Then
Yeah.
I mean, are we even considering what women want?
Yeah, well, that I've heard that point raised by multiple women on different podcasts. Intelligent, accomplished women whose opinions I respect, and that's a concern of theirs. They feel like, and they really do feel like it's another branch of the patriarchy. Only in this case, the patriarchy's wearing a dress and a wig.
Yeah. We're moving into like this weird period.
It's really weird.
It's strange.
Really, and it's not going to age well. And people are going to look back on it. I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime. I wouldn't be surprised in your guys' lifetime because you're a lot younger than me. People are going to look back on it and go, "Fuck, remember that? Remember when guys were going around and saying they were women? Remember that?"
No, but like it's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with it either. But what I'm saying
Like
is,
if I transition into a woman and I identify now as a woman and I am a woman, like I'm completely transformed into a woman. Logically, if I feel like a woman, I'll just go to the women's bathroom. So what's the point of gender neutral bathrooms?
okay, do you still have your cock?
No,
Okay, interesting. So how are you going to pee?
with whatever they replace it with. I don't know how the mechanics work, but let's say that's me. Why would I want a gender neutral bathroom? If I'm a woman, go to the women's bathroom.
Okay. I
guess
agree
it's-
with.
yeah.
I think I heard Bill Maher say this when he was on with Rogan a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Bill Maher, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically, and I was saying about there will come a time like this won't age well, and Bill Maher said the same thing. The reason being, you cannot sustain a lie. A lie cannot be sustained over a long period of time, and this is my opinion. But at the end of the day, a man is not a woman, and vice versa. A woman is not a man. It's it's a lie and it's delusion. No matter how many body parts you cut off, no matter how many hormone blockers you take, at the end of the day, you are what you are, and I just can't believe that the truth and common sense will not prevail in fairly short order.
But medically, you're not wrong. I mean, if you're born a man, you're a man, period. Now, in the course of your life, if you decide to transition into a woman, okay, by definition, maybe you become a woman, but biologically, how can you not still be a man, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm saying. And how do you sustain that? How do you how do you sustain that as being a truth when in fact it's just not? Like scientifically, biologically, it's not the truth.
It's not. Anatomically, though, you're a woman. So, and that's the point. That's what's confusing me with this bathroom situation. If you've transitioned into a woman, go to the woman's bathroom.
Look, all I gotta say is if I had a daughter, and then she has to go to the ladies' bathroom, and a grown ass man walks in a dress, I am walking in there and stuffing his face in the toilet.
Look, I've been to malls where there's the women's side and the men's side, but it's kind of like a common section where they have the sinks, right? That didn't bother me so much. You walk inside, people are washing their hands, but then you go kind of behind the wall into the women's bathroom, and behind the other wall, it's the men's bathroom.
Yeah, but that's usually in nightclubs.
No, there was a mall. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's gender-neutral bathrooms. I mean, there's separate bathrooms with a common area for the sinks and stuff and mirrors and all that stuff. So that doesn't really bother me. I don't know. Speaking of committees, parliament committees, just to tell you guys the huge difference between Canada and the U.S. And I don't know if a lot of people saw this, but Michael Chong, we spoke about Michael Chong because he's a member of the parliament with the Conservative Party of Canada. And he was targeted, with, the whole Chinese interference thing. That's where it started from.
Yeah.
There were Chinese members of the consulate in Toronto or the embassy. No, the embassy is in Ottawa. The consulate in Toronto that were spying on him, and some members of his family back in Hong Kong had some sort of repercussions, and that's how it came out. He was invited to Congress. He was in the U.S. the last couple of days, testifying before I can't remember which committee it was, because that's how seriously they take these issues. They thought, fuck, there's a member of parliament who was a victim of, foreign interference. Let's bring him here. Let's see what he did. Let's hear his experience and how he dealt with it. And I feel that's the right thing to do. And we're talking about now, the PQ leader wanting to do a parliamentary committee on this issue. And we're like, well, who are you going to bring? Who are the experts? Can we not open the door to other people to come? That's what has always bothered me. I mean, in the U.S., they go to great lengths to bring the proper people to get properly informed so that the government can make a decision and draw some sort of policy or direction about where they want to go. And it's such a drastic difference between how the parliament or the Congress works in the U.S. and how parliament works here in Canada. It's completely mind-boggling, the difference. So I just wanted to bring that up. We're going to finish up with news that are coming out about COVID-19. I don't know if you saw that at all.
I saw Theresa Tam saying she thinks we should all wear masks again.
How disturbing is that? Seriously.
Well, it would only disturb me if they mandate it. If somebody wants to wear a mask, it's the same to me as if they want to wear a dress and a wig. Knock yourself out, but I'm not going to.
I feel like they're preparing the ground for something. I don't know if it's like test balloons just so they can get a little feedback of what's going to happen on the ground, because they definitely don't want to go through what we went through the last couple of years where people were blocking an entire city with trucks. I don't think we want to live through that again. But now that we have so much more information, you would think that the strategy would be completely different, and yet it isn't. Like, you have government officials coming out doing a press conference wearing masks at a time where, I don't know about any dangers or potential dangers, but in any case, I mean, we know that the new variants of COVID aren't as contagious as the previous ones. So what the fuck are we doing here? Theresa Tam saying, well, we've gotten used to wearing masks, so I would suggest everyone get their masks to have them handy. Because, with new strings of COVID and other respiratory, what did she call them? Fucking
viruses, respiratory viruses,
whatever she called it. I never thought, I wasn't aware that this time of year we had to wear masks because of other pathogens or whatever the hell she called them, respiratory diseases other than COVID. Like, where are you going with this exactly?
I don't know where they're going, but like I say, if it makes someone else feel comfortable to wear a mask, I got no problem with that. And I'll give you your space.
That's fine.
Within
okay.
the bounds
I
of
see
reason.
them. I still see the people wearing masks.
Yeah. I saw people wearing masks in like 2004 during SARS.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, that's if that's what you want to do, then good for you for protecting yourself. If I get sick, I'll be sorry, won't I? But I didn't get sick, and I don't think they'll go full. I can't see them going full mask mandate and lockdown again after the shitstorm last time around.
Ted,
do you think people would put up with it this time? We were very compliant last time.
At least for the first year and a half, I'd say. For like halfway through that thing, I think people were pretty compliant. There was like an interesting wave of solidarity where everyone was kind of helping everyone else.
But I think a lot of people were compliant because they were afraid too.
We didn't know the information.
People got shots because if they didn't, they would lose their job.
But you saw that now Health Canada approved an update for Moderna.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure what kind of testing was done. Is it premature? I don't know. So there's all these signs that are being kind of leaked into the media, and we're talking about them as though they're preparing the grounds for something. To go back to your question, there is zero part of me that believes that people can deal with this again. Zero. And especially politicians that saw the frustration that the last 3 years caused. It would be political suicide to go down that road again. Unless you have to, because it's really life or death kind of situation,
if
which we know is not the case.
Left, right, and center, but that's not going to happen.
We know it's not the case.
And even the last time, what was the survival rate? 99.5 or 99.9% or something.
Today we know much more about what happened. We know that the vaccines weren't properly tested. There's so much information that we have. We know that masks serve zero purpose. It doesn't really help at all in containing contagion. So why are we lying to ourselves? I mean, that's the big question here. And I was just wondering,
virtue signal?
Are we going down that road again? I mean, are you going to be able to deal with it if we do?
Well, I'm not going to have any choice, am I? Didn't have any choice last time. I mean, what am I going to do? Am I going to have a little one-man revolution? Am I going to go buy a truck and drive it to Ottawa?
But do you think that there's going to be an instant wave of dissatisfaction compared to last time? Because last time, like you said, it took a while before people realized.
No, I do believe there will be an instant. I think if there's a mask mandate and or lockdown this time, I think people are going to be shitting gumdrops right out of the gate. I don't think they're going to, because last time it started as give us 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
We'll flatten the curve in 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right, we got to roll. I got to get over to Poseidon's Thea's place.
That's funny. That's funny because you know why that's funny? Because you prepared that, and you've been waiting. You've been waiting to say it.
I have got to see what all the fuss is about.
Once we go off air, he'll be asking for pictures. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Follow the channel. Go subscribe over at patreon.com/Pantelis. For a bunch of exclusive content, you can follow Poseidon. Ted Bird right over here standing by. We're looking forward to the new season with Terry DeMonte. And you can catch my stuff over at the Backstage Podcast and Politiquement Parlant, exclusively in French for the ones that understand. It's what we're doing here, only in French. Thank you all so very much. We'll see you all the next week. Take care.